So just how good is the PRS DGT SE? I did some first impressions a little while ago, but now I've had it for 9 months. I've tried different tones, different songs, tried to sort of copy different sounds, and I've had it for 9 months, played it a lot. So I think I'm in a pretty good position to give you some thoughts, some ideas on this guitar after 9 months. We're going to go through, obviously the look, the feel, the tone controls, the tones that you can get out of it. And I'm going to give you my overall thoughts on this price point, whether I would sort of recommend it, yay or nay. All right, let's have a look. So let's talk aesthetics, the look, right? I mean, let's face it, the look is pretty important for most people. I think you'd be hard-pressed to disagree. If a guitar doesn't look great, you probably aren't going to be too inspired to pick it up. And obviously, if it does look good, you're going to be inspired to pick it up. So that, to me, is actually a huge part of the value of guitars. This one looks fantastic. I love the gold top. I loved it before I got it. Love it now. It looks absolutely amazing. Everything from, of course, the PRS headstock. That's their thing. That's their brand. But I love the dot inlays, moon inlays, and the gold top is just fantastic. So for me, 10 out of 10. I loved it when I got it. Love it 9 months later. Right, let's talk about balance, the weight of the guitar. I don't own a Les Paul. I don't think this is as heavy as a Les Paul, but it doesn't feel heavy to me. I mean, I'm predominantly sort of playing in the home studio here. So, balance-wise on the leg, and this is actually interesting. Some of the guitars I have are very hard to play sitting down. They're just made for standing up, unless you're sort of one of those players putting in between your legs, which I can't really do. So balance-wise for me, this guitar is great. Zero problems. It's really comfortable to play and to sit down for hours. All right, the neck, the feel of the neck. I admit, when I first got this, rather before I just got it, I was nervous. It's a thick neck, which... It's not that I didn't like thick necks. I was not used to thick necks. If you're a modern C Fender player, that was what I was just used to, which is really not a big neck at all. So this one is chunkier, but I love it. Absolutely love it. I think, as humans, we get used to anything really, really quickly. I do not have big hands, so on this chunkier neck, I love it. Now let's talk about the gloss. The gloss on the fretboard, you can see on the neck, the back of the neck, you can see that there. That was probably, I was more nervous about the gloss because I've played high gloss necks before and I have really, really not liked them. However, what I think that was, it was more the fingerboard rather than the back of the neck. There's obviously a rosewood fingerboard, so you don't have that problem. But the gloss on the back of the neck, if I was to design my perfect guitar, it wouldn't have a gloss neck. However, that said, on this one, I don't even notice it, so absolutely not a problem. As I said, usually though I'm playing here in a home studio, so if I was live sweating, I don't know if that would make a difference, but for me, it's absolutely fine, not a problem. The radius, it's not a compound radius, it's 10 inches, first fret through 22nd. For me, it's a perfect compromise. If you're getting into the 7.5s up to 9s or whatever, that's really vintagey, sort of really rounded, you might start to have problems fretting out and things like that. 10-inch to me is just a really great, I don't want to say compromise, but it just feels great. Whether you're playing chordal work down here, playing lead work up here, absolutely love it. 10 inches, not a problem. Love it. Okay, next let's talk about the controls on the body there. So it took me a hot minute, I suppose, to get used to it because it's not Strat-like, which is more what I'm used to. The main thing, I love where the pickup selector is. It's out of the way, it's intuitive, it makes sense. Bridge, middle, and then your neck. Great, fine. Now, what you've got though is this first volume knob here is for your bridge pickup. It took me a while to get used to because it's first, which you think it would match the neck pickup, but no. But it absolutely makes sense for me. I normally sit on the bridge pickup, so this one being here makes perfect sense to me. The tone down here, again, makes sense, works on both pickups. That's where your coil tap is as well. So that makes sense. This one's a low friction, so it winds really easily, sorry, no friction. The volumes though are stiffer. Not that they're stiff, but they're stiffer. That's probably by design. I'm not sure. Doesn't bother me. The one thing that I don't love here is the position of the second volume here, and that's just when the bar is in, it's really hard to get my hand down there. The first one is fine for the bridge. The tone is fine, but that second one, if I need to roll it off in a hurry, and that's what I'm just used to doing as a Strat player, it doesn't fit under my hand nicely. I mean, it's a tiny gripe, and again, it's completely subjective. But if I'm playing on the bridge pickup and I want to, be rolling on and off my volume, it's not comfortable. I more have to sort of do it with my fingers rather than slide down with my fourth finger that I'm used to. I use a volume pedal often anyway, so it doesn't make a huge difference, but there you go. Next, the vibrato system. Look, I hate to say it, but I absolutely love it. It's floating by design. Don't know if you can see that. So by design, it's sitting, off. It's a good, 2-3 millimeters, 3 millimeters maybe off the body. So when it's parallel, it's floating. Now I prefer vibrato systems like that. I like to have it floating so you can pull up as well as push down. So, that's a plus for me. Stability-wise, I'm not going to dive bomb on it, but I really haven't had too much of a problem. It's pretty stable. It's pretty robust. And again, floating for me is absolutely killer. It's a beautiful, beautiful looking tremolo. It's got the vintage style, 6 springs, but it's I think it's a patented PRS vibrato system, so it's great. The other thing is the trem bar just pops out, pushes back in, and there's no bouncing. It's not loose in the cavity there, so it's brilliantly designed, feels fantastic. The only thing I will say about the tremolo system is a few times even, there's a screw that what I imagine does is it tightens the arm so you could have it fixed there. It doesn't really fall much at all without it, but I imagine what it's there for. And for mine, I don't twist it and turn it much. I'm just sort of a regular player, but it's fallen out 3 times. And so, I just screw it back in, but it's fallen out 3 times. Now, I don't want to over tighten it because I like the tension the way it is now. So that is, I don't know. I don't know if the non-SE model has that, but no big deal. The only thing is, I suppose I could easily see myself not noticing when it came out. I happened to have noticed when it came out before because it doesn't really feel any different to me, and then I lose it. So. All right, guitar tones. So obviously it's a dual humbucker, it's an HH setup, and that's one of the reasons I got it. Not only did I love the DGT, always loved the DGT, it was just sort of out of my price range, but I really wanted a dual humbucker guitar, sort of a Les Paul type of guitar. Obviously, no, this isn't a Les Paul. It's PRS's own sort of S pickups, humbuckers, but they sound fantastic. As I said, I'm usually living on the bridge humbucker. It has a lot of, I find the pickups have a lot of body, but I'm usually on the Kemper, and I often find the Kemper, the profiles for me are lacking in clarity and presence, and I normally have to bump those up anyway. So yeah, I'm normally on the bridge humbucker. The neck one, for me, when I'm dialing in just the neck pickup, it sounds fantastic. It sounds really great, really, really warm. But when I go between them, I'm not sure if they're as balanced as I thought they were. There's a really big difference between the nice bite of the humbucker and then going to your neck pickup. There's a really stark difference to me. I almost feel like my tone, or the tone must be down or something on the neck pickup. So again, it's really personal preference. So it's hard to sort of have a go at that. That said, when I'm dialing them in individually, I really, really love them. The coil tap, I admit I haven't used a hell of a lot because I've got a T-style guitar and so I just sort of haven't had the need to. So beyond just experimenting with it, and I mean, yeah, it sounded great, but I just prefer the sound of the humbucker, so that's normally where I stay. How about playability, overall playability? Well, look, for the reasons I've listed above, this guitar is always out and it's one of the first ones I pick up when I just want to play. I don't have anything specific I'm trying to play, I just want to play. I pick this one up first. From the aesthetics, as I said, it looks fantastic, but it feels so good. It is really a joy to play. And that to me really sort of says it all right there. It's a joy to play. It sounds fantastic. The tuning stability is really, really strong, especially when you're using the bar, which for me is kind of a bane of most of the guitars that have a bridge. You know, it's always tricky. But even my fixed bridge, you know, guitars, this one to me is on par with it. The tuning stability is really rock solid. So yeah. It's a joy to play. All right, let's talk about value for money. Would I recommend buying this? Well, on Sweetwater right now, the DGT Core, the non-SE, is going for $4,600. $4,600 USD. I mean, that's a lot. This one's going for $849. $849. In Australian dollars, you can pick it up for about $1,400, which, you know, it's ridiculous. It's an obvious answer, truly. I would absolutely buy this. You know, if you were even a beginner mid-range, if you have the budget to do this, I don't know of any guitar really that would compete on this. Obviously, you got to be looking for a humbucker, you know, Les Pauly style guitar with the trem. So best of both worlds for me. And with those coil taps, although I don't use them, you know, you really can get a lot of diversity out of the sounds. So it's a no-brainer. Would I recommend getting one? Absolutely. If something happened to this, I would replace it, and that to me is probably the biggest plus I could give it. So I hope you get a chance to play one, to try one out, and I hope that you get to pick one up. I've heard stock is really in short supply. Okay, any gripes? If you're at all familiar with this channel, which most of you probably aren't, but if you are, you'll know that I had a bit of a contentious video before when I sent this back to be repaired. I did not send it back because I didn't want it. I sent it back just to be repaired. The primary reason was the wiring on the coil tap wasn't working. If you take the back off, there's a lot of wires and capacitors and whatever. It's more complex because, no doubt because of the coil tap. Not something I'm comfortable doing myself. So, you know, it came damaged. I sent it back. That's not really contentious to me. But I did mention two other things when I got it, which was the extraordinarily high action, and then therefore the intonation was out. That was just a comment on what PRS are known for, which is their exceptional quality control, even on the SE line. So that was the only comment on that. Anyway, suffice to say, got it repaired, and if you've gotten this far in the video, I absolutely love this guitar. Do I have any gripes with it 9 months on? I mentioned the screw here, not really a gripe. It seems like a strange design piece because, again, it came out 3 times, and I don't really notice it without it. Is it on the core model? I don't know. So there's that. The only other one is the input jack was really, really loose. So, I tightened that. Again, no big deal. I'm not suggesting don't buy one or let it prevent you from buying one. Again, it's just an observation because PRS have amazing quality control. I've gotten other guitars, similar price point, that have had, no problems in the electronics and those sorts of things. But fret edges and all those sorts of things, cannot fault this guitar. And now that everything is sort of tip-top, I absolutely love it. One of my favorites. All right, that was a bit of a ramble. Went on and on. Good luck. I hope you pick one up. See you next time.